Chapter 23, Jet-Powered Bottom. Before I begin, continued Winnie, lounging on the sofa like Cleopatra, Queen of the Nile. Queen of the Nile is like the Queen of Egypt. Cleopatra is a very famous person. I would like one of your delicious biscuits. Since Dad's illness has confined him to a wheelchair, Elfie had become responsible for all the food shopping. He knew that the bungalow was a certified biscuit-free zone. You ate the last one yesterday, said Elfie. Remember? Cake? She trilled with a hopeful and teasing lilt in her voice. A nice slice of cake? Winnie looks like the kind of woman who, when offered a piece of cake, when you offer her a piece of cake, would leave the slice on a plate and take the rest instead, take the whole other cake instead. No, replied the boy. He didn't need to check. They never had cake, not even on birthdays. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, moosed the lady. Chocolate? We don't have any, replied Elfie. Nothing chocolatey in the house, persisted Winnie. No. Nothing chocolate covered or chocolate flavored? No. Chocolate chipped, coated, swirled, layered, sprayed, encrusted, sprinkled, blended, melted, or dipped? Elfie took a breath before replying. Winnie was being so annoying it was hard not to shout. There is nothing in any way chocolatey in the house. There was a long pause. Infused? With that, Winnie was back in the game again. No! Nothing infused with chocolate! No! Nothing with even a hint or whiff or a trace or suggestion of chocolate! No! Something that's not meant to have chocolate in but might have chocolate in by accident? Both Dad and Elfie looked flammots, that means shocked and puzzled by this. Like what? Asked Dad, who had been watching this contest as if it were a tennis match. Yes, what? Implored the boy. The lady looked deep in thought for a moment. Well, that could really be anything that is labeled chocolate-free. No, barked the boy. We don't have anything chocolatey, chocolate-flavored, chocolate-infused, or chocolate-chocolated. All right, huffed Winnie. I only asked. With that, she slurped her tea and sighed again. So loud. Elfie perched on the edge of the armchair next to Dad and folded his arms. Now he was ready to accept his fate because Winnie's going to tell Elfie's dad about what happened in the afternoon, how Elfie got everybody to chase after him just to get him to the dentist. So as he leaned back a little, the packet of all chocolate Revels that Raj had given him fell out of his trousers pocket and onto the floor. Oh dear. In a heartbeat, that means very quickly, Winnie's eyes were on them. Whoa. Like a killer whale that's just seen an overweight seal plop off an iceberg and into the sea. So she's like a killer whale looking at her prey now, a seal. Well then, young Alfred, what on earth could that be? She teased. She knew perfectly well it was a bag of chocolate-coated confectionery. Confectionery is like sweets or candies. Nothing, Elfie replied quickly. It's not nothing, son, chimed in Dad unhelpfully. It looks to me like a packet of chocolates. Winnie stared at the boy. Oh, these? Yes, sorry. When you said chocolate-covered, coated, or infused, I didn't think that included Revels. There was a hush before Winnie whispered, I think you know full well that Revels are a chocolate-coated confectionery. Offer that nice lady one, prompted Dad. Elfie needed those sweets. If he ate one every half an hour, those chocolate-covered coffee creams would keep him from falling asleep. Without those much-needed shots of caffeine is something that's found in coffee that keeps you awake. What chance would Elfie have of catching whoever was responsible for leaving the unspeakable horrors under children's pillows? Reluctantly, that means unwillingly, he picked up the packet and slopped over to Winnie. Thank you, young man. Well, we got there in the end. Now, which flavor Revel shall I have? I like them all apart from the coffee one. So Winnie likes all the Revel flavors except those that are coffee. But she doesn't know that in the packet that Raj gave Elfie, all of the Revel sweets were all coffee flavor. No one likes the coffee ones, agreed Dad. Good luck, thought Elfie. If Raj had sorted them properly like he said, every single one was coffee. I can't have coffee anyway, continued Winnie. It goes right through me. Goes right through me, that means whenever I have coffee, I'll have diarrhea. Dad and son shared a look that said simply, too much information. Neither wanted to imagine what this lady looked like glued to the toilet. Greedily, Winnie ripped open the bag and helped herself. She picked out the first Revel and popped it in her mouth. She chewed for a moment before her face contorted, that means twisted, as the sour taste of coffee slipped down her throat. No, it's coffee, she moaned. The first one too, what rotten luck. Now it was Elfie's turn to smirk. Smirk, that means smile, because he's very satisfied, like ha ha ha. He had to bury his head in his shirt to hide his ever-widening smile. Elfie's now laughing at Winnie. Let me have a different one to take the taste away, she said. So Winnie helped herself to another Revel. Again, her face soured. Coffee again! No, I need a different one. Had Raj managed to sort the Revels correctly, or had he left the odd Raj raisin Revel in? Elfie was praying he didn't. So Elfie's praying that all the Revels that Raj gave Elfie were all chocolate, were all coffee. Winnie selected another one. This one must be toffee. Toffee's not chocolate. Toffee is a sweet like caramel flavor. My favorite of all the Revels. Carefully she began inspecting, began to check the tiny chocolate. Or orange cream? No. This is definitely toffee. The good Lord is finally smiling upon me. After rolling it, sniffing it, and even licking it, she finally put the Revel in her mouth. It melted on her tongue, and as soon as the chocolate coating had dissolved, Winnie's face once again contorted in complete and utter revulsion. Revulsion means disgust. It was as if a deadly poisonous jellyfish had swum straight into her mouth. Look. Coffee! No! She whined. Then she took another and another and another. Each one gobbled in hope to take the taste of the last one away. Each one just making it worse. Soon the whole packet had been well and truly demolished. Demolished, that means destroyed. The whole packet of Revels is all eaten up. And Winnie had a belly full of chocolate. She sat there on the sofa with chocolate around her mouth and an expression of pure misery, that means pure sadness and pain on her face. Every single blasted one was coffee, she protested. Oh dear, uttered Elfie, trying his hardest not to burst out laughing. How could that have happened? Dad looked very surprised. What are the chances of that? He asked. It must be 1,000,000 to 1. So how can so Dad was like, what are the chances of having all the Revels coffee flavored? His son tried to look as innocent as possible. So innocent as uku, which somehow made him look extremely guilty. But now was the calm before the storm. Then out of the silence came a sound, a long, low, rumbling sound. It was like a storm was breaking in some far-off mythical land. Dad and Elfie looked at each other and then turned their gaze to Winnie. The poor lady looked down to her round tummy. It was rumbling and grumbling and expanding at an alarming rate. It was as if it were a balloon that was so full of air, it was about to pop. I told you coffee goes right through me, exclaimed the woman. My bottom is about to explode. Well, mused Elfie, looking more than a little smart, I suppose your story will have to wait for another day. her story about telling Alfie's dad what happened that afternoon. Yes, I have to go, exclaimed Winnie. Now, right now! With that, Winnie went to stand up. As she straightened, her bottom burped, that means she farted, loudly and violently. In fact, now it's too late. There was another bottom burp, even louder and violenter. Violenter is a made-up word than the first. Oh dear, excuse me. The lady was deeply embarrassed to have lost control of her bottom so completely. She squatted down a little as she scuttled out of the room sideways like a crab. So she had to walk like a crab so that she won't fart anymore. Winnie was desperately hoping to contain the wind, contain the fart. But with each step out of the room, her bum let rip a thunderous blast of air again. Alfie found this so hilarious, that means very funny. He had tears in his eyes now. Dad, who was not meant to find this funny as he was an adult, had his hand over his mouth to stop himself from sniggering too, that means from laughing quietly too. As they heard the door slam behind her, the pair finally erupted with laughter, hooting and honking like sea lions. Dad laughed so much that he slid out of his wheelchair and plopped onto the floor. They rolled around for a while on the carpet, cuddling and laughing. Eventually, Alfie scuffled over on his knees to the window to watch Winnie zoom off. The moped seemed to be going 100 times faster than usual. Perhaps her bottom, with the coffee-scented gas whooshing out of it, was functioning like a power jet engine. So her fart was functioning like an engine to keep her moped moving even faster. With the social worker gone, Alfie was out of trouble for now. But the boy was about to step into a world more dangerous than he could ever imagine.